Hi, I think we're live. Hold on, let me just get things set up and we'll get started. We are finally live. Hello everyone, welcome back. We are today talking about building out a real life UI UX SaaS, Fintech SaaS UI from scratch, and it's going to be a landing page and it's going to be a dashboard, and the dashboard is going to be detailed, so strap in because today is going to be a lot of fun. I am so happy to be back with these live streams, and we're finally going to talk about a lot of stuff that we haven't really touched before in the whole land of UI UX design. So let's just get started. What else can we do now? Let's just get started. Alright, so if you don't yet have Figma, what are you doing? Go to figma.com/downloads. Make sure to get yourself a really nice Figma, and then we'll get started. So this is what we're building today, and I want to get into what we're building today really quickly because it is quite fun, and you'll see how fun it is. This is the dashboard that we're building, and this is the landing page for the dashboard actually. Track and save with Penny. Penny is a simple, clean finance app that kind of lets you keep track of everything that's going on in the fancy business of finance, and we have a dashboard too. So this is the dashboard we're building out today. Again, super duper fun. You can go ahead and track budgets, and it does let you take care of a lot of really tiny things. So this is what we're building today in this live stream. Make sure to leave a nice comment and we can get started. So that's where we're at. Let's just get started. If you don't yet have Figma installed, make sure to go ahead and download Figma from figma.com/downloads. I think I already said that. And now we're going to get started with this one. So the very first thing we can do, if you just have nothing else as a starting point, is just to go ahead, click on plus, create a new design file inside of Figma, and now we have a new design file. Look at that. Wonderful. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to create a simple frame, because this is the first frame that we're building. This is the main landing page, and it's heavily inspired by some of the trendiest landing page design that's going on in the current market of 2026, and that's kind of where we're starting with. So the very first thing you're going to do, go ahead, create a new frame. This is going to be MacBook Pro 14 from scratch. Let's just get a new MacBook Pro 14 in. This is our first frame, and now we're going to start with some of the most interesting parts, which are the main headline and the tagline and the button, which, again, really important parts, really crucial to the whole thing. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the font Instrument Serif, which is, again, one of the classiest, one of the trendiest fonts for all things UI UX right now. And we're going to enter our really simple title, Track and Save with Penny, and the font size is going to be huge, obviously. Why would it not be? Again, we're going to stick to the custom 96 font size that kind of goes on, and now I'm typing out Track and Save with Penny, and because we're streaming after such a long time, I am finally reminded of how horrible I am when I'm typing and streaming, so you're going to see me struggle with a lot of slow typing, but bear with me because what we're building out today is incredible on itself. So let's just select all of this, make sure the font says Instrument Serif. Wow, this is exactly where you're going to see me have a lot of fun with not being able to type what I really should be able to type by now. And we're obviously making this italicized, so that's kind of the main tagline. And here's one thing I want to talk about really quickly. Instrument Serif is such an incredible font because you can literally put nothing on a screen, plop on a huge Instrument Serif headline, and that kind of gives you a really nice looking feel. I can already imagine what the whole landing page is going to be. I don't know if you can, but for me this does a lot of structural work really quickly, really easily. And now we're going to add a description section to this whole thing. Penny is a clean, simple personal finance app that helps you track spending, stick to budgets, and reach saving goals all in one place. Now, as I've said before, I am horrible at streaming and typing at the same time, so I'm just going to copy this. If you're making this with us live right now, make sure to pause the video. You can copy and paste this and maybe type it out on your own. I mean, it's a simple thing to do. I'm just going to go right here and we're going to talk about the UI elements today. So I'm just going to paste this right here. Wow, I think I pasted it in the exact font. But again, for example, if this is the text that we just started with, this is the text that we just made up, you could literally go ahead, change the font family to Outfit. And I'm trying to show you the styles that we're using for this specific font right now, and get the text to a really small size of 24 and just paste and match styles that we've just been talking about. And again, you can make the whole thickness medium if you need to, because Outfit is a clean, simple font, and it's fine to experiment around with the font weights as a whole, and that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're going to make sure this aligns in the center and we're just going to place this exactly where we have. Again, very, very clean, simple finish. And what I want to talk about is instrument serif, which is the title font, and outfit, which is this font right here, are such a huge powerhouse when they work together, and it's really, really incredible to have them both be in the same place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this right here, and I'm just going to get this right here, and now we're going to make our main call to action button. So this call to action button is just going to say explore. We're going to make this smaller. We're going to right click and frame this selection, and we're going to add a little bit of an auto layout. So the method that I'm using to make buttons today is the 2026 standard of making buttons everywhere. And this reminds me of a really, really interesting story, because I've recently started being active on Instagram again, because let's be honest, my Instagram used to suck, and now I'm kind of getting better with that, so I'm really happy about it. But anyways, I really got into Instagram recently. While we're talking about the story, I'm just going to get the main font colors for today. The main color that we're using is FFA64D, which is the bright shade of orange. I encourage you to copy this too, because you're using essentially the same color palette from the beginning. So we're going to get that right here. Make sure to add a corner radius. The main corner radius I'm using with this is number 10, because that's kind of where we're at with that right now. And we're going to make sure this is, of course, very, very bold. And we're going to make sure this aligns in the center. And here's the thing that we're going to do. This image is the final image that comes out from this dashboard, and I want to make this entire dashboard from scratch. So we're going to make sure to create a rectangle, leave it out, and when we're done with this, we're going to get back into the loop of adding this image inside of this landing page on its own. And since the main color that we're using here is actually black, which I just saw, we're just going to copy and paste this button, because this was the main colors button for all primary buttons, and I feel like that's the sign up button for now. So we're just going to place that right here, and then we're going to change this back to black. And speaking of things changing, I got recently very, very active on Instagram, and here's the interesting story with buttons. Everyone, and by the way, I'm making the whole navigation section now, so just follow along if you're building this live. Everyone on Instagram is a little bit more horrible, to say the least, when it comes to audiences. Like, everyone is a little more direct and to your face, and they'll not mince words at all. And I made a couple of videos about making simple UIs in like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute short reels, and for one singular reel, and this was an old UI, and I kind of prototyped and modeled it out really, really quickly. For one singular UI, I swear to God, I just added a rectangle, put some text on top of it, called it a button, and I got called out in the comments. Like, that's where we're at right now. So if Instagram is calling me out, and that's just general audiences, I feel like this standard of having an auto layout and then making a button is just such an industry standard right now. Everyone knows it. If you don't know about it, it's my job to let you know that it's actually a standard right now, and it's exactly what's going on and what's trendy right now. So maybe keep that in mind. And I mean, if someone can call me out about that on Instagram and over one singular button, and by the way, you can go back and take a look at my history. I've been really good with my buttons, by the way. So if that can happen to me in one single go, I feel like in your interviews and in the stuff that you're making, it does matter. Like, we try to say it doesn't matter, but sometimes it does matter, and this is one of those instances where it definitely does matter. And we're kind of adding all of the different texts with that. So this is the navigation section. We're going to make sure this is obviously as bold as the main text that we had right here. In fact, this is a little bit more highlighted, and I want to leave it a little bit more highlighted because this is the main call to action button. So I'm kind of going to make this semi-bold just for the sake of it. And then we're going to add a little bit of an auto layout padding to this as well. So that's going to have a little bit of a padding. Let's increase the gap, get it up to 56, which is a really, really nice number. And speaking of really, really nice numbers, some of the nicest numbers that you can literally have in UI UX design, and while I'm talking about this, I'm making the main logo, some of the really nicest numbers that you can have as a whole in UI UX design are numbers that are multiples of 8, and you might wonder why that is. And that's because of the 8-point grid system, which is pretty much the industry standard everywhere these days. And what that does is it basically lets you take every single number that you're going to use, and instead of saying 77 or a weird number that isn't divisible by 8, you'll use the direct number 96, which is divisible by 8. The 8-point grid system basically tells you you're going to create everything in multiples of 8, and that translates really well to development also at the time of handoff, which is why that's such a huge trend and industry standard right now, and I wanted to talk about that as well. The next part we're making, the very, 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 very most very interesting part of this whole story. I feel like this is my biggest favorite. This is the logo that goes with the landing page and everywhere, and it's super simple to make. Like, you can literally follow this along in Figma and you'll have a lot of fun making it, which is why I'm super duper happy about it. Round this off, make sure the border radius is set to 10. They started switching around a lot of stuff in Figma recently. I'm pretty sure you've noticed if you have been in Figma at all. And one of the things that freaks me out the most is they switched calling border radiuses from border radiuses to corner radiuses now, and it makes me feel old when I look at Figma trying to get everything new with them now. And speaking of things that are old and new, and I'm searching for the dollar sign, by the way, speaking of things that are old and new, AI has been a really, really big trend that's come up recently, and I have a lot of thoughts on it, obviously. I recently had a client in a consultation talk about how he, in this case, was really, really specific, and he was just trying not to do a lot of stuff by hand, because if AI makes it possible, he felt like it was an industry standard and they just should do it. And especially in UX design, I feel like this is such a common standard. Because AI came in, because AI started doing a couple of these things, people just feel obligated to let AI do it, let Claude do it, because Claude is the ultimate standard. And it's so weird, because you can have Claude, you can have ChatGPT, and I say this in the most serious of all cases, you can have all of these tools, and your brain as a UX designer is still going to be the most important thing required in making your UX design journey work. So that's just always, always, always such an important standard for me. And the entire consultation, and I don't want to shame everyone, I'm pretty sure he's watching, I'm so sorry, but the entire consultation was literally about, you can have every AI tool and still not be anxious that AI is the only thing that can replace me. Because right now the mindset that goes with that is, wow, AI came in, AI this and that and this and that, that must mean I'm old, that must mean my skills might not be required. And the reason he was getting rejected by interviews was the fact that there is now an interviewer who is sitting across the screen and looking at this design he submitted, and those designs are off in certain places and not up to the mark, simply because he's trying to outsource 80-90% of that work to AI, which I feel like is a really, really bad thing to do. Even as AI comes in, even as we're early adopters of that entire network, it's almost always wise to use your brain. Don't get scared by the word AI, like, use your brain. Your brain is still the most important asset in the whole wide world. This is the thing that companies are looking for, this is the thing clients are looking for. And if I can basically, even not to sound like self-absorbed, but if I could credit every good thing that has happened in my life related to UI UX design and clients, I would still credit my brain and not AI. Because of course AI helped me in many, many places, but you can't let AI be the thing that holds you back at any point. Like, if AI is the reason you're not using your brain, use your brain, just because that's an issue of lack of confidence. And AI is coming in heavy and strong, but I still completely believe in the fact that we as UI UX designers have a lot of brain, and there is a lot of good that we can do with our own skills. So the color that we're using here is 555. And speaking of which, Rusteezy has a couple of comments. I'm so happy you're here, Rusteezy. Welcome to the stream. Rusteezy says, yes, exactly. What I do, I make the UI in chunks and groups and put it together and then customize it. Creating from scratch is, I think, going to be fade off. I think that's true, and that was also a trend in design systems. So this isn't only an AI after trend. Like what Rusteezy is doing is actually very, very practical with what happens in the world right now. And I completely applaud the fact that you're actually doing this, Rusteezy, because even before AI, the whole world of design systems came in, and design systems are literally just us saying that we are going to use a little bit of a predefined set of UI components, predefined UI pre-made chunks. We're going to customize it a little bit if we need to, but then we're going to keep on using it in our own UI UX design projects. And that's the most basic building block, and it's making developers and designers faster, and it's literally the best method of making things work. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to draw your attention. We have done almost all of the hard work of both the most basic building blocks in this part, so we've kind of gotten that done. This screenshot, even if it looks complicated, is just an image export of this dashboard, and I want you to not be scared of that. We're going to create a rectangle, leave it out here, and then we're going to make this dashboard happen right here, right now. So I'm just going to make a simple rectangle. We'll fill this up with the image that we get on this stream later on, and we'll fill this out. So by the end, we'll have a really, really nice dashboard. If you're building it, incredible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build out a real dashboard. This is going to be the real dashboard that we're building. We're going to get this right here, MacBook Pro 14, and add it in the center. And the next thing we're going to do is have a simple dashboard with us. So the very first thing all dashboards have these days in almost all modern design is a simple navigation bar, and we're going to add this right here. Make sure it's completely aligned towards the left. And something interesting that's happening with this, and I'm trying to get a light shade of orange as we work with that, something really interesting that we're going to do in today's stream is we're going to, even though this layout kind of looks like this navigation part of the whole thing is sticky, which means it's stable even when you scroll through this screen. And even when this content scrolls on the right side of the page, the navigation bar stays stuck. And this is a really interesting technique you can use in Figma, and I'm going to show you how we do that as well. Maneet Rishi says, could you please review my portfolio whenever you have free time? If you send your portfolios today at the end of this stream, or in fact even right now, after we're done with the design part, we will review all of your portfolios and projects. That would be a lot of fun to do. Absolutely. Alright, so the next thing we're doing is we're going to have our brand's name in this. So we're just going to create a simple group out of this, Control G to group this together, copy this right here, and we're going to bring this right here. Of course, you can go ahead and change a couple of the pixels, but at the end of the day, the main parts of this whole thing remain the same. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a menu. This menu is going to have a couple of options: overview, budgets, transactions, goals, bills. So we're going to add a simple title that says MENU menu. We're going to make this smaller and fix this right here. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of options. And here's another interesting thing that we're going to do. So the first thing that I talked about that was really interesting with this is we're going to make this sticky. The second thing that's really interesting with this is you can actually switch these around, and the colors and the whole texture of this changes. So it's really an interactive menu, and I'm really happy about that. So we're going to get a couple of icons in, and you can obviously watch me do that while I talk about another interesting fact, which is Iconify. Iconify, not sponsored, is the best plugin that I've ever gotten myself into, and it's literally a never-ending library of almost all of the best of the best UI icons in the whole wide world, and it's super duper fun to watch. And Alish Zone says, making everything from scratch. Wow, yes, we're making everything from scratch now, because I wanted to challenge myself, and I found no other better way than to just go ahead, open a YouTube live stream, and be making everything from scratch. Again, I always welcome all of your comments, and it's super duper happy to be another great day of live streaming. I used to live stream a lot, and then in the middle it got a little bit cut off, but recently I've been getting into a clear head, and it's been a lot of fun, and we're searching for bills now. So these are the 5 icons that we're using. Let's just get all of these down here, and we're going to make sure they are aligned. Add an auto layout. Where is the auto layout button? This is the auto layout button. We're going to make sure all of these are aligned together, and we're going to give them simple little titles: overview, budgets, transactions, goals. Let's just go ahead and add a simple title. Overview. This is the best way to learn design and get better in design. Absolutely, I agree. Design is a very visual thing, and the best thing that I can do as someone who teaches UI UX design is be on here, show you what I do, show you what most designers who say they just assembled something in 10 minutes do, because it definitely takes longer than 10 minutes. And if you're setting up your expectations over something unrealistic, it's just going to give you a lot of trouble. Aken's Realm says, I was checking auto layout playground file. Great to see your stream. Have a nice one. Thanks. Wow, thank you so much. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. I'm mostly using Framer recently, so I think Framer and Figma have a lot in common, even though people don't like to talk about it, especially with the newer changes that have gotten into Figma. I feel like this whole left side navigation didn't used to exist in the Figma that we knew 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and the way Framer and Figma have kind of aligned together lets me think that there is a lot that Framer and Figma have in common. And if you're doing one, I think the second one is also going to be really relevant to you. And I say that as someone who's used them both, and I say that as someone who's had a lot of fun with both. And I feel like even as Framer and Figma kind of used to work together, Figma Make is now going to take a lot of the space that Framer did, even though I sound a little bit rude if I'm saying that to a clean Framer developer. You're certainly right. Thank you so much, Akinstel. I feel like I was designing stuff a couple of days ago, and I literally opened up Figma, and I literally just looked at it, and I just went, wow, this is so weird, because we're living in a time where Figma and Framer used to be called competitors, and then the way Figma has made its comeback, and the way Figma has literally given us a whole new look on the entire land of Figma. I feel like Figma and Framer and Figma is borrowing things that are good from every single company out there, and that includes Framer, that includes Adobe, that includes your AI companies, because Figma is suddenly now into assisting us with the coolest AI tools. Like I think I have a really cool Figma AI video in me, which we'll make at some point in the future. Figma is definitely changing, and it's getting good things from everywhere, and this is the best time to be a UI UX designer, honestly, because you get the best of so many worlds all at once, and it's literally the best time to be doing this, because again, you have AI, but it's not a super weird bot that replaces humans. Like, no company is only getting UI UX design replacements of AIs anymore. Like, at this point, that's just not what reality is right now, and yet there is a lot that's just really incredible to watch. And Figma recently changed so much. Like, Figma, I have watched Figma from the start. Like, I was here 5 years ago, and I was here 6 years ago when things did not used to look like this, and Figma has just, believe me, you guys, when I say this, I'm not sponsored. Figma isn't sponsoring me right now. I hope you do, Figma. Like, Figma has just literally skyrocketed ever since they kind of came up with the news of the acquisition. Speaking of the acquisition, I didn't actually know Figma wanted to get acquired by Adobe. Like, that wasn't on my radar at all. I went into a podcast with another designer who said to me, there is Adobe and Figma acquisition news coming out, and I was like, what? This can't be real. And then I went ahead and looked at news, and it was the most unbelievable thing in the world. And I don't think Adobe would have done a good job if they kind of acquired Figma, because look at Figma right now. Look at everything that it is borrowing right now. And I might sound controversial for saying this, but when projects go into Adobe's world, they just get really small, and they just get really Adobified, if you know what I mean. Every single thing that Adobe has on its own is just in the Adobe universe, and you might know what I mean if you are an active Adobe user. But if Figma went over to Adobe, I want to know your thoughts on what you think would have happened if Figma went over to Adobe. I think it would have been horrible, by the way. I think it would have been a horrible change, and I'm so happy they kept Figma, and it's really fun to use it right now, because they actively take such a lot of interest in making the product an improved version of itself, an improved version of what it used to be. They can still do collabs. Which Figma and Adobe? Whose collabs are you talking about, Akins? I really want to know whose collabs you're talking about. Like, I'm curious about it. Could you please clarify? Because I am really into this conversation as a whole. Like, Figma and Adobe and the whole news of acquisitions for them, I would have been so brokenhearted if this actually got acquired. Like, even though I have a Creative Cloud subscription, and I say that as a user of Premiere Pro, all of the videos you see on this channel edited with Premiere Pro. Like, I am actively an Adobe member, and yet I looked at Adobe XD, which used to be Figma's main competitor like 5 years ago, and I don't like a couple of things in Adobe XD genuinely, and a couple of things in Adobe XD I was such a huge fan of. Akins Realm says, yes, there was a post, what if Figma blog demonstrating using After Effects features in Figma. I think that would be a fun read. I haven't read that yet. If you guys could share it in the live chat, I would go ahead and take a look at it later. Like, I would definitely do that. One feature, I'm going to sound, again, I know I'm just jumping into controversy today, I don't know what's on me. The one feature that Adobe XD basically had that I loved, I wasn't the biggest fan, was it worked so well offline. And at that time, even though Figma has made major changes in working well offline, at that time, like 5 years ago, Figma used to be horrible, and Figma lost so many of my files. I have legitimately lost a lot because internet used to come and go 5 years later for me, and there used to be a lot of internet trouble that I don't face right now anymore, but I used to have a lot of internet trouble, and Adobe XD was the one good factor with Adobe XD was they were taking care of you even if you lost internet connection. Like they had your things saved in your device and then it made backups to the cloud as well, which was my genuine favorite feature. But other than that, there is literally no other reason. Even the Figma alignment and stuff was really, really good even 5 years ago by that standard, and Adobe just didn't have that. And I'm so happy they didn't get acquired, because I completely believe if they got acquired, things would have been worse for us. Can I share links? Akin's says, yes, you can absolutely share links. I would love to read all of the things that you share on here. And even if I miss a comment this today, I will read all of them after this stream is done. So no worries about it whatsoever. I think Figma, so again, before we get back into the whole Figma land of juicy news, I want to talk about the thing that we're building today. This is what we're building out, and as you can see, the whole mock-up, the done mock-up kind of looks like we've got a little bit of overflow happening right here, which is not actually happening on this side. Here's why it's not happening. The actual size of a MacBook Pro 14, which is the device that we're using, and you can go ahead and take a look right now, is 1512 by 982 pixels, right? And 1512 is the width, which obviously does not change. But the height is 982 pixels. So 982 is kind of what we're keeping this width right now. And now what we want is, even if we scroll, so even if this is the white background of our whole device, even if we scroll, we literally want this to stay sticky right here. And even if the content here goes up and down, we don't want this slider to shift. So we want this title bar to remain sticky. We're going to go right here and we're going to add in, sorry, we don't add an interaction. We make sure to check the scroll behavior of our whole thing, and we're going to make sure it says position fixed, stay in place, and this is going to stay fixed and staying in place now. And I'm going to show you what that does immediately. This is what's happening when you change the scroll behavior to sticky and fixed. This is now sticky regardless of what content happens. And to demonstrate that, I want to show you something really interesting. This is the most interesting part of this whole stream, by the way, so just watch. If you're here, might as well take a look. This is a simple thing that we've made, and I want to like put in a major A. So this is a A that's kind of really, really huge. Let's get this font size up to 500. In fact, I want to make this bigger. Let's get this up to 1000. Wow, I made it up to 100. This is the whole thing. And if you genuinely have this right here, it's obviously quite big, and it obviously doesn't fit the screen because this is the length of the screen, and we're trying to make this a little bit bigger. And now these two contents, rectangle and A, are in the scroll section. So these are now scrollable. And now when you scroll, even when this A goes up and down, because we're technically scrolling the right side, and I just wanted to give you a visual demonstration of that, this title, this navigation bar, this bar on the side of the dashboard remains sticky, which is the most incredible news. Speaking of news, let's just get back to the news that we were talking about. I did not expect the whole Figma to Adobe thing to happen, and I genuinely would have been devastated if it happened. Meanwhile, ever since the whole news of the rumors of Adobe's acquisition came out, Figma improved a lot. And Figma, let's add an effect of a drop shadow as we're talking about this. Figma improved so much, and Figma just became a powerhouse. Figma now has 6 different modes. There used to be a time where Figma design mode was the only Figma mode possible, and that was when Adobe's XD went out of business and Adobe wanted to acquire Figma directly. Like, that was the news of those times, and I'm just talking about like not even 2 years ago right now. So those times make me feel old, you guys. Figma genuinely is the one software that makes me feel like an old person. I hope I'm not that old. So again, we're typing out the whole title and description, April overview, and then we're going to add a short description right here, right now. So the thing with that is, we had Figma have only a singular mode. Wow, the font size is huge. I lost the font size. Shame on me. This is the font size that's right here. We're going to place this right here. And ever since the acquisitions news came out, Figma has literally made Figma Buzz. I'm going to show you the different modes because they baffle me so much. Figma Design, FigJam, which is the Miro alternative. Figma Slides, PowerPoint alternative. Figma Buzz, Canva alternative, social media. Figma Sites, Framer alternative. Figma Make, which is completely new because it came with AI. And I feel like Figma is just here to dominate UI UX design now. It's going to be the Adobe of video creation world. Like, if you're making any sort of video, I don't think most of the things from After Effects to Premiere Pro, you can kind of go without Adobe. Like, that's Adobe's monopoly. And Figma just says, Figma basically says, what was I talking about? Wow, I lose track of my own words so much now. Figma, this is science. Veera is getting old. This is literally that in real time. Again, so the way Figma has changed, the way Figma has given us so many changes, I feel like it's just incredible that we even get to see that, because no other company in the history of any UI UX design has done changes the way they have done it. I'm just copying it right now, and I'm just going to paste this right here, and we're going to change the styles because I'm super slow at typing and you'll all leave. Akin's Realm says, link I pasted is not visible. Google a new collaboration with Adobe, a Figma blog post. I will definitely do that. I feel like Figma as a company, and I want you guys to share your thoughts on this as well. Figma as a company has literally given us so much new change, and the pricing has gone up as well, which is very, very interesting to me. But Figma as a whole has done so much for us that's just new and interesting, and I have a lot of fun with it because, again, I am the most avid user of Figma in the whole wide world right now. Main Co Night uses a fun little name for me, and here's the thing, today's live stream is really, really special to me because I reconnected with a couple of friends who I used to have in Friends of Figma program. I hope to be in the Friends of Figma program one day. I think it's going to happen. I'm really hoping for it. Not yet in the Figma Friends program, but how do you even go to that program? Don't you need a huge following? I think I do. I'm pretty sure I'll get it soon enough. Again, if you know how to be in that program, tell me, because again, no one has been a bigger advertiser of Figma screaming from every weird rooftop, Figma, and I would love to be in that program, genuinely. I also like all of the different the meetups they do. Like I think about those all the time now, and I have no idea what the requirements and the hobnobs of those are. Like there is a lot of genuinely great UI UX design community happening, and I want to be a part of all of it. Speaking of today's stream, and speaking of what we're building right now, give me 2 minutes, I'll talk about this and we'll get back to the really, really interesting stuff. We're building out a complete budget tracker. It tracks your finances, and for the first section, we're going to do monthly income, budget remaining, spent so far, net savings, the main money kind of stuff that you would do if you're organizing your personal finances. That's what we're building right now. So today's stream is really interesting, and I want to let people know because my reactions will be off the charts. I reconnected with a couple of friends who I used to be in literally the same class with in nursery, and we did school together, and it was the most fun time ever. And I am half sure, and then like people have been just genuinely great friends with, and people I've made a lot of fun of, so I expect them to give it back to me. And I don't know if you're watching, and I'm pretty sure you're watching. You know who you are. I mean, it's completely possible that they might make a lot of fun of me today. So I have my own development and design agency, and I teach right here because a lot of people are curious about what I do, and I want to be really, really clear about that. So the next thing we're building out is monthly income. Let's just type that out. I'm really bad at typing too. When I'm streaming, you can't expect typing to go right with me. Like I cannot stream and type. Wow, are you looking at that? No one should let me stream and type at the same time. Like, horrible. Who can't stream and type? This is monthly income. Again, really, really basic. And we're trying to get this to the most basic font size as a whole. Outfit medium and a 22 font size. Let's just get this right here. And the next thing we're going to do is 5400. Wow. Are you looking at this? I can't stream and type together. Wow, this girl can design and talk. Wow, thank you so much. That is so nice. I cannot type, so that's the biggest compliment in the world to me, and it's so fun because I half expected today's stream to be the stream I get trolled at. Like I was expecting that to happen. I would still not be surprised if you guys watch me get trolled today, because there is a couple of people really, really fun who love to troll me, and we've recently gotten to the whole trolling dynamic once again, and anything could happen anymore. All right, so now we're building out this section, and this is the most interesting part to me, because if you get into a profit, this section literally turns green. If you get into a loss, it turns red, like the most basic finance true false logic that you can have. And if this is a section that literally makes no difference, it is gray. So that's kind of the 3 color switch that we're working with. Do a Discord UI remake next. Discord, wow, I feel like we could touch Discord. That would be fun. I have a Discord community, and I'm going to remake Discord, and I'm going to talk about my Discord community too. Perfect plug. Thank you so much, Main Coon Knight. If you go into the description, you can literally check out my Discord community. Super duper fun. We've got a lot of people there, and you've got a lot of the assets for these streams there as well. Across, what did it say? Up to $100 March. I literally can't type. I'm just going to copy this and paste it. Alright, so now we have this pasted right here. We're going to make sure this is turned up to a semi-bold. Bring the font size down to a... Can we bring this down to a 15? I think we can do this, bring this down to a 15. Speaking of remakes, have all of you guys, because I'm pretty sure all of us have watched juxtaposed remakes. How do you think of those? Because I have watched a couple of those streams, and I honestly, even though they're super animated, and even though it's common with me, and even though juxtaposed, again, I respect all creators and I respect everyone who's in this category, because I know how difficult it is, and it just literally, it's your whole life if you really are committed to it. But I've seen a couple of the design remakes, juxtapose makes, and I feel like beyond a certain point, and I get why, but like beyond a certain point, her streams are quite negative, and I didn't even think that could be a possibility with like UI UX design streams. How can you be negative with that? But when she tries to break down UIs, and maybe it's the fact that she's trying to break down UIs, it's a very negative vibe now, and the whole channel became a little bit of a negative watch for me, and I kind of scaled back on that. And I think, again, more controversy for me to step into. Why am I stepping into controversy today? I really should not be stepping into so much controversy, but I don't like juxtaposed videos anymore, because they're a little bit negative. Like, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know, because again, is she innovative? Absolutely. Is she a great UI UX designer, developer? I respect her to the moon. But also, again, it's a little bit negative, because if you get into the whole process of watching any of her videos, it kind of goes to the stream of Figma did 2 icons that looks kind of similar, and now I'm going to trash it to the moon. And I feel like it's our job to make the whole internet up from the ground up, and not just be trashing it left and right. And it just went to a point where it got really negative for me, and I had to scale back on it. 256 by 176 is the size that we're using for this one, and we're going to make sure that is the size for all of these. 256 is what we're going to type out right here. Again, let's just get these aligned, and I'm going to make sure these are aligned as well. In fact, we're going to delete these, select the both of them, copy and paste them right here, and then we're going to align them perfectly. Alright, let's just copy and paste more text. Copy and pasting is my favorite job on these streams, because why would it not be? Speaking of streams, we used to do 2 types of streams on this channel, and the first stream used to be this kind of UI design build stream, which people obviously love, and the second stream used to be a whole streaming sequence where we used to critique and talk about award sites. And I did a whole series on award sites last year, and it went like it got nothing from the audiences, which tells me the whole format was short-lived, because we literally did 2 stints of live streams here and there, and like the whole awards sites weren't working out there anymore, because again, live stream is a long format, and you have to be like keeping things going at every single moment, and award sites really do have a pattern to them if you start looking at them. So that I scaled down on recently. I just recommitted to the whole idea of live streams, but again, I'm not going to do those for a little while anymore. But if you guys have your own designs and prototypes and stuff that you want me to review, I will absolutely review your sites and portfolios and whatever it is that you want to talk about. Like, I will always welcome to reviewing our own stuff, like stuff from me, stuff from you. It's always super duper fun to do. But I feel like award sites are just not getting the kind of traction they used to, and maybe that has to do with the fact that award sites have become really predictable. And I try not to trash everything, but like it's getting to a point where they're getting quite predictable, to say the least. Like, is there a lot of fancy schmancy left and right fireworks going on with award sites? Absolutely. Is it getting kind of repetitive for us? I think that's true as well. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to design a bunch of charts. Wow, I am scared of designing charts because of how long they take, but because I have you guys watching, let's commit to making charts now. Income versus expenses. Again, I want to copy this title now, because you will not want to watch me type. If I type, I will make 100 spelling mistakes and then make a couple more. Like 100 is not enough for me. Outfit, bold, 24 font size, nothing fancy to watch at all. Again, auto layouts are your greatest friend when it comes to making charts. This is what we're building out. This is the first chart that we're making. Akin says, I guess live streams helped your channel's growth, right? They absolutely did. Live streams have been the backbone of this channel and I love them so much. Even when I'm not doing live streams, I'm missing live streams. I want to do live streams every day, but getting these designs out is literally very taxing. Like, I don't want to lie to you about that. And I'm trying to get back to 1 or 2 live streams on Saturdays and Sundays because, of course, we have the most fun on weekends. Why would we not? Again, Rustizi says, yes, I am open to feedback about projects and portfolio reviews. I feel like that's the best place to be. You're open to feedback, I'm open to giving feedback, and we're finally getting to a place where all of that settles really, really well. In the beginning of this channel, I used to do a series that was called 100 days of UI design on live stream. So we wanted to build out 100 UIs live, and it was a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. And I literally fainted on the 40th day. I did 40 different streams, and we tried to make that happen 40 different times. Not an easy feat. I'm not trying to blow my own conch, but again, it was taxing, and it was really, really tiring, and it was exhausting getting a new UI out and then streaming and then blowing out your whole vocal system. Like, after these streams, when these streams are good, I cannot speak. That's just where I'm at, and voices just go down to nothing, and it's difficult, like, to say the least. I'm not making excuses. I don't want to be one to make excuses, but it's literally not that easy. No. Speaking of things that aren't easy anymore, if you're having a lot of trouble finding clients, if you're a UI UX freelancer, and if you're having trouble finding clients because people wanted to know what I do, I want to help you. If you're having a lot of trouble finding UI UX clients, the first link in today's live stream is literally for the Why You're Not Finding Clients workshop, which happens next Sunday, 19th of April. Everything, all of the details, completely free, by the way. All of the details are in the description. If you want to sign up, go sign up. You will have a lot of fun. We'll solve your problems. We'll talk about everything that you're not covering perhaps right now, and it's going to be super duper fun. Shajit Ahmed said this, and I don't know what that means. Maincon says, how to create a UX case study. Can you make a video on that? I absolutely can. One of the next live streams I want to do is literally on that topic. I feel like on my channel, we've been here such a long time that there has to be like a couple of videos I've done on case studies, but because case studies are such an evolving topic and there is literally a lot to cover, I will make a video on that most definitely. All right, we've got these aligned in a simple auto layout. What topic with case studies do you think is the most difficult? Because I want to know what you guys think. I genuinely do. And it's at a point where case studies in general are the most feared topic in UX design as well, and yet they're the most important. But the one thing that I can confidently recommend to every single UX designer watching is, if you're making case studies, I don't care what purpose you're building case studies for, be very, very explanatory in your case studies and try to make every single UI decision that you made be reasonable from a UX user experience perspective. Because the one thing that is common with all of your case studies, no matter which one of you makes it, is the person who reviews your case studies is not a UI UX designer. They may not even be familiar with these common terms in the whole land of UI UX. And the one thing that you need to show them as a UI UX designer is, I know how to think like a UX designer, and I know how to justify my decisions as a UX designer. And case studies will literally let you do that. Speaking of which, we are done with this chart. Again, really few details remaining. If you make charts in Figma, my salute to you. It is the most difficult job in the whole wide world. Again, there are more difficult jobs, but we're going to talk about those too. And speaking of, wow, I got my frame logged into another frame. Does this happen to you guys? This happens to me all the time. I'll get one frame logged into a different frame, and then it's a frame fiesta, and it's trouble for me. We're going to make this huge. We're going to make sure this says hug contents. Hug contents is the best setting in the whole land of auto layouts, because if it hugs your content, it literally adjusts to the spacing of your content, which is the most incredible thing in the whole wide world. And recently, speaking of things in the whole wide world, I've been getting into a really nice state of mind, and it's is the weather changing, or is it just me? Why is everything so happy now? Like, things are just suddenly getting better, and it's so incredible. It's fit content in Framer. Yep, I think it's fit content and framer. Hug content is fit content, right? Absolutely. I just, again, you're watching what's happening, right? It's a live comedy show at this point. I get things mixed up all the time, but fit content and framer or hug content and Figma, absolutely. Thank you, Akins, for that recommendation of the word which I forgot. Is the kind of best thing to me ever. And since we're not really careful about what this is going to be, I'm going to get a nice shade of purple to go along with this right here. Let's get a nice shade of purple, and I'm going to read your comments, you guys. Please don't go anywhere. I'm going to read your comments. It's going to be super fun. Before I do that, let's just select the two of these, get these into the whole rounded off corners. I'm watching a couple of really nice comments in the comments right now, and I want to reply to them. Please do not leave. I will reply to you. Give me a second. And this is going to be the next chart that we're building out. The interesting thing with today's chart is I want it to be rounded off at the top where it's kind of showing us the height, and I want it to be really flat at the lows. This is exactly where we're placing things now. You can get these to change. I think I did a really interesting thing because someone talked about, has your channel grown on auto layouts? I had a really interesting thing happen to this channel. This channel crossed its threshold from 200 to 300 subscribers on a live stream, and we were literally just streaming and that happened. And I wanted to give everyone a surprise, and I literally said, can I wear my special hat? And it was the funniest hat. And if we literally cross 2000 on this live stream, because I'm going to live stream regularly now, hopefully, if we cross 2000 subscribers, I will wear my fancy hat again. If you've been in the old live streams, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's read the comments for one single second. Mainkun Knight says, learning tools is easy, but case study is what helps us get job. Absolutely, that's true. I'll get to that in just a second. Shajit Ahmed says, how to master typography, pixel sizing, color theory, gradients. You have talked about what UI design is. This is so interesting to me because how to master typography, again, I've got crash courses about all of them, but if I wasn't here promoting my own content, again, I would say it does take a lot of practice, and everything that you're talking about is a dedicated worthy topic of study and a worthy topic of like literally making videos and explaining them. And that is literally the list. Shajit, I want to take this list with me today. I will screenshot your comment after it's done and after we're done with this stream, and I literally want to talk about all of these topics in detail. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because we're going to be streaming so much and we're going to be making a lot of videos on all of these topics, and hopefully a lot of practice and making these things with live feedback and watching these things live, making them happen is what helps you make that happen. Learning tools is easy, but getting the case study is what helps us get jobs. I think case studies and good habits of describing your case studies well is what helps you get clients too, because what is a case study at the end of the day? A case study is just the document that you make that explains your logic as a designer to all of the different people who are not designers. And we're going to make a nice little tag of 1580 surplus, and I'm going to talk about case studies. Case studies are literally the document that you give to a non-designer and you let them realize through your work how crucial of a designer you've been and how important design is as a field. So design is commonly like taken as a light subject and taken as something that you can kind of just dismiss, and my own experience says not at all. But case studies is how you literally prove to everyone design is a really relevant subject, design is a really fun subject, and it has a lot of crucial thing that kind of carries your whole brand forward. And it literally proves to everyone the thing that we know as designers is true about UX design, UI design, but people don't know yet. So case studies are very revolutionary to me because they can prove so much that we can't usually prove with our own words. And I think that's such a fun thing about case studies. But again, making case studies is not easy. Taking any project and trying to break it down from scratch, the first thing that comes to my mind is it's exhausting. Like, I could lie to you, I could say case studies, the magical miracle of the universe, and they are quite magical, by the way, but it's exhausting. Like, after I'm done making one of these, I am exhausted, I want to go home, someone let me sleep. But getting back to your project, trying to break all of it down for a new beginner from the eyes of someone who isn't in design is an exhausting thing to be doing. And I get the fact that why so many people ask questions about case studies. Case studies aren't genuinely something you can make if you don't know what you're talking about, if you don't know UX thinking right. And case studies are really exhausting too, because of course not only are you explaining everything that you did, and we're just copying text right now, so not only are you explaining everything that you did, you're trying to make it happen for people who haven't had a design background, who literally need you to prove to them that it's an important thing you're doing. And you have to go back to your own project, this project that you're tired of, this project that you just made, because when you make something, you're tired of it, and you now have to go ahead and prove to everyone that this is a really, really important point. Atul Kumar, hi, welcome back. We have the original people who watch this channel also watching this channel now. I am so happy to have you guys here. This is so incredible. Anyone who has watched this channel from the beginning, and I am so grateful to all of you. It's always super nice to have you guys here. Like it's just the blessing of my life to be able to host these live streams, talk about all the stuff UI UX design, the greatest miracle to have happened to my life, like by far. Again, we're talking about text now. Alish Zone says, I'm working on case studies, so it is overwhelming. Thank you for saying the truth. Of course, case studies are important. Of course, we have to tell ourselves we need to do case studies. I'm never going to say don't do case studies, because case studies are super important every single time. But also, I agree with you completely. Case studies aren't an easy thing to do. And we're going to make sure to group these together in one go. And then we're going to do this one now. So I'm just getting rid of a couple of things. Let's get rid of these rectangles. Case studies are exhausting to make, and it's completely overwhelming simply because you, as a designer, put a lot of brain into making something happen. And after you're done with that, your brain literally needs a break. Like, are we done now? Can we go home? Can we just get this thing out of the way? And then when someone asks you to make a case study, it just feels like you're rehashing the same thing you did all over again. And it's completely overwhelming because you're tired of it, honestly. And I'm tired of things too. And who isn't tired of things? Like, God is tired if you ask him to make a case study. Like, are case studies tiring? Absolutely. But again, are they important? Are they the thing that helps you get the job, that helps you get the important thing? Also true. Again, so speaking of things that are overwhelming, a really interesting fact about this channel is, no matter how good of a video it is that I made, I will need an amnesia lobotomy before I want to watch my own videos again, simply because, again, these videos aren't simple, easy to do. I don't have a meme reaction channel, so it's not the simplest thing in the world for me either. And then if anyone asks me, and this is why I relate to you guys so hard, if anyone asks me to go back and watch my own videos from scratch, like, I am exhausted. I don't want to do it. Not because I hate my videos, no, not at all. I love my videos. But again, it's like if you make something happen from scratch, watching it again as a replay, as a walkthrough, it's exhausting. And it's exactly why I agree with you when I understand your pain when you talk about case studies, and it's exactly why, again, being a UI UX designer in any way is not easy. Again, we're doing the second chart now. This is, oh, wow, where did this go? All right, so this is the second chart. It has a bunch of circles. It has these kind of bar graphs, and it has these titles right here: housing, food, transport, and we're going to do 5 different colors. So we're just expanding these circles, making these categories happen. Shahjeet Ahmed says, I'm designing a centralized dashboard to help users efficiently manage, track, and control AI agents, improving workflow and visibility and productivity. That doesn't sound like an easy job either. Salute to you for making that happen. Again, even the descriptions of the stuff we do as UI UX designers is not simple or easy. And at the end of the day, making all of it happen and then being able to describe it, even this huge description, it's exhausting to like read and do and all of the stuff. And I agree with you completely when you say that this is a lot, because it is a lot. And I don't even know if you said that, but I already know it's a lot. Like, I've been where you are, we're in the same field. It's so fun to be here. Mainkun says, by the way, what's your favorite UI of an app or website? Honestly, because I make UIs, I have to say the current UI that I'm working on. For now, this UI. Because, again, every single time you make a UI, if you know this, you know already what I mean. Every single time you start with a UI, it's a whole new story from scratch. You have to commit to the whole process, and I don't think at this point I have the bandwidth left to be committing to this is my favorite UI. But again, are there a couple of UIs I take a lot of inspiration from? Yes, I do. Speaking of the UIs that I take a lot of inspiration from, one UI that really stands out to me is a UI that I watched, and I don't know if people outside of India are going to know about this, but one UI that I watched was, this was a this was a awards site. Awards as like the fanciest UI UX designs in the world. This was an awards site. A guy named, I don't remember his name because again, this has been many years ago. A guy had a UI UX designer portfolio, and he was also a developer, I think, and it was the Dashavatar portfolio, and it indie folio, I think it was called, and it had like 10 different avatars of Lord Vishnu in front of them, and it kind of described his portfolio as a version of that, which was really not only religious but really complicated in its making. So again, the references that I do remember for you guys again are just in my memory. I don't remember the titles anymore. Like, all of the inspiration I've taken is so old now. But is there a lot of stuff that I love on UI UX design? Absolutely. I don't even think I can say this is my one favorite site. I have one singular favorite site because there is so much, but at any given moment, if I'm working on a site, that's my favorite UI for the day because I need to give it my all. I need to give it my 100%. And I realize I'm sounding really preachy when I talk about it that way, but that's the price you pay. RustTC says, which UI section do you want to redesign from the app you interact with daily? Indian Railways. Because you order stuff from all of the private sites and you love it. Go and book a flight, and most of the flights, I think Indigo for the most part is what I see. You love it, and then sometimes really rarely, but sometimes I will open the Indian Railways site and I will hate myself. I also hate a couple of the bank sites. I don't want to take names, but the government banks and stuff, again, anything that the Indian government makes isn't really as up to date as we'd like it to be as UI UX designers. Let me redesign your site, please. I don't even know the tender based system, honestly, for government contracts. Like, I would love to get one of those if they would make that possible. But honestly, I the one site that I absolutely hate but don't talk about enough is Indian Railways, without a doubt. But I can't interact with it daily. Okay, fine. What site do I interact with daily? What app UI do I interact with daily that I hate? I don't honestly know. I have to think though. Give me a second. I'll literally think of an answer as we're doing this, because there has to be something. You're right. There has to be something that I interact with daily that I hate. Again, do I hate something? I don't know. Do I hate something? I honestly hate the UIs where they give you a lot of notifications. Like, notifications as a whole, can we scale back down on that, honestly, because it's just getting to a point where it's a lot, but I have to think. You need to give me a moment to think. This is not an easy question. I feel like this is the toughest interview in the world. So many incredible people asking so many interesting questions. This is my favorite place in the whole wide world right now. Like, I love this stream so much. But you need to give me a moment. What do I even do on an everyday basis? The most common UIs that I interact with every day are Instagram, YouTube, all of the main social media. I feel like there isn't a lot to hate in it, honestly. Twitter is kind of changing its UIs very commonly now. Like, they literally limit your actions, and if there was a UI that I was having a hard time with, I think it would be Twitter. Twitter is something that I interact with every day, but it's not only is it like quite old, the whole thing is weird too. Like, they're removing the video copying feature, and then it's just news left and right, and it's again, Twitter has definitely worsened ever since Elon Musk took it over, and I say that as a huge Elon Musk fan. Like, Twitter. But again, from a political angle, maybe things have changed a little bit, and I don't care about politics that much. But Twitter's UI, I don't think ever since it became X, I don't know if things have maybe majorly improved that much. We're adding an auto layout to this. What are your thoughts on the Twitter takeover? I would love to know what you guys think, because absolutely, I am a fan of social media, but then Twitter becomes a real world one. Rastisi says, maybe you can't hate it, maybe just need to simplify something or redesign as your perspective. Give me a moment, I will think about an answer on this stream, that is my promise to you, but I will come up with something good. Against Realm says, checked IRCTC site. Yeah, it could be better, but still pro, right? I mean, if it works, don't break it. What was the code line? I forgot. Give me a second. If it's not broken, this was an epic one. if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think that's the whole thing that we're going to use with this now. And this is a code principle. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. But yeah, maybe. Atul Kumar says, my Aadhaar apps UI. Thank you, Atul. But I feel like the DigiLocker has improved as a whole. Like, we used to have bad sites. I hate my Aadhaar card photo, but the DigiLocker site is not that bad. Like, is it made by the government? Yeah, but the government has made worse things. Like, the government has given us worse gifts, and I don't entirely hate it. Manit Rishi says, not sure if you use the Cred UX, but it has good UI, but keeps changing, so bad UX. As a user, you have to keep adapting and search for buttons, so I hate Cred. I have Zerodha experience. That's the one I'm currently knee deep with the financy stuff in. But Cred is a new brand. Cred keeps changing things. I'm not surprised when you say that. If Cred is hiring good UI UX designers, Cred, welcome to my channel. These are the people we're talking to today. Someone in my audience knows a lot about your UX and you don't, and they're a great UX designer, so maybe hire them. That's all I can do at this point, because what else? Akin's Realm says, haha, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about getting the UX right. Back to the question that Rustyzy held up, what thing that I think we could improve? What is something that we could improve? I want to ask the audience too, because I'm honestly running out of answers to give you. But I will think of something. Well, what is something that I could improve? I don't know. I feel like even as a UX designer, and I'm going to get a little bit of pushback when I say this, even as a UX designer, by the way, second chart done. Congratulate us. We've done the second chart. We're doing the third chart, which is this one. By the way, when I'm using anything at all, I'm not really focusing on whether this was the best UI, whether I could change this UI. And this feels like such a bad advice coming from a UI UX design coach, but I feel like I don't really think about, do I hate this UI? Because most of the time, even if I hate something, even if I don't like something, I'm on sites to get stuff done. And these days I've got the fullest calendar in the world, so I'm just trying to get through my day at the end of the day, and I'm trying not to complain too much. But what's something? Google search. One thing that I would improve is Google search. If you look up anything in Google search, most of the links are still really, really basic, and I feel like we could add a little bit of padding, maybe zhuzh it up, maybe jazz a little bit of the elements, make something fancy happen. Rustyzy and congratulations. What happened? Why are you congratulating me? Just let me know why you're congratulating me. Did we reach a subscriber milestone? Did something happen with the channel? Did the channel explode? That's what I'm hoping for. But did something happen? Why congratulate me? I don't know. Please let me know why you're congratulating me. I love taking your good compliments, but I don't know what you're complimenting me about, and it's driving me crazy. Array, chart completed, just congratulations. Thank you so much. I am so happy. By the way, stick around. A lot of different charts that we are going to make today. So many congratulations remain that you need to give me today. Now I am working for your validation. Again, a nice day to be live streaming with so many people watching. Again, I'm having a lot of fun. This is great. Can I just say I love the stream? I love the stream. This is incredible. The next charts that we're making are two different charts, and they're not simple charts either. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is going to be like race cars. Speaking of race cars, do any of you guys have little brothers, sisters, cousins, siblings? Because I do, and they pulled me into this weird game. It's called Smash Cards, and I was basically forced to play the game with family, of course. And it's the games that they're making these days, the UX. If there was one UX I could improve, I would improve the weird 3D racing games that are currently in the market, because they give me a migraine. They legitimately give me a migraine. Only child Rustyzy. I also am an only child Rustyzy. Wow. I do have very incredible cousins though, so they keep me busy. They'll call me and they'll leave a bunch of missed calls on my phone, and I want to call them all the time too. Again, interestingly, all of my cousins are single children too, so we're just scrambling to annoy each other now. So that's kind of where things are at. So I am also an only child. All of my cousins are also only children for the most part, and we're kind of constantly annoying each other. So that's just where things are at home. But honestly speaking, I'm playing a game these days, forced by my cousins, of course, not genuinely my will. I would never play those games on my own. I am too old to be playing games now. I should literally grow up. But again, I'm having a hard time with the whole race kart racing games, especially Smash Kart. I don't know who made it. Even if 3D limits the things you can do, like 3D is legitimately a different technology and it requires a game engine, and I understand the whole craft and the whole process of it, but I'm just having such a hard time getting the whole hang of those games. Like, I will give myself a migraine playing those games and I will still lose. That's how bad I am. Like, I'm surprisingly bad at all video games. I haven't ever played on one of those Xboxy things, even though people have had some of those in my family and I've gotten the chance to maybe use them, but I don't really. I'm horrible at games, like all of the weird games. I will play online Monopoly though. Like, that's the most I'll do. That's just the most you will ever catch me doing. But other than that, I am just so crazy about the whole video games. Like, I'm just done with them because I cannot physically bear to do any more of them, especially because they give such huge migraines. Wow. Again, do I know you? Ajay Rastizi, I might know you. I might not know you, but I might know you. Are you my cousin? I don't think so. But again, anything could happen. We have the same last name. I don't know you. I think so. If you meet me at a weird wedding, I promise to say I know you because that's the norm at this point. But I hope I know you. I hope you're my cousin, long lost cousin. That would be fun. That would be so fun. Again, the cousins that I do know about definitely keep me really busy with the weird Smash card games. I don't think any person could play those. How do people even play those games? Like, I feel that's, you're feeling old when you start playing games and you can't play the games anymore and you still keep losing, and it's the whole weird, like, I will not have an easy time with anything 3D game. Anything 3D game. And is it just me, or do 3D games just suck in general? Like, is it the fact that I have a phone that doesn't have a good 3D processor, graphics processor, or do all 3D games just suck in general? Like, that's what I want to know from all of you. Do 3D games give you a good user experience? I don't even care if you're good at them. Like, you can be good at them, fine. You're like my cousins in that case. But is 3D games just a topic of issue for me? Because the last migraine I got from using my phone was when my cousins pulled me to use this game, and it's so hard to get off those games now. But it's just the thing I'm struggling with in my personal life as a whole. Again, we're doing the charts now. This is the third chart that we're building out today. Today's build has a lot of charts. This is a really dashboardy kind of build, and it has a lot of charts, so I am going to trouble you. Rustizy says we don't know each other. Well, now we know each other. We know each other through this channel. That's so great. But I would not be surprised if someone came at me and tomorrow and told me we're cousins. Like, I would definitely welcome that. It's so weird because I just like have a hard time with those games, and then I want to play because everyone's playing them now, and my cousins will pull me back in and I'll have to play them again. It's just the funnest experience in the whole wide world. It's super duper fun, but it gives me a migraine at the end. So that's the trade-off we're making. Just found your Insta 2 days ago and I found it so useful. Thank you so much. I'm having a lot of fun, like, going on Instagram too now. That's just something I used to struggle with a lot, and then we finally got better at Instagram, and we're breaking new follower boundaries every single day. Like, we're hoping for 800 soon, which is where we're currently at. And I'm just trying to align this really quickly now. We have like 5 different categories of recent transactions, and I want to get those aligned really quickly. There has to be lines too in the middle, but I'm thinking of skipping the lines today because this font variation that we're working with, outfit, doesn't seem to need that anymore. Like, I'll just expand this. I don't think we need the whole border gap right here. I don't think we need the whole border gap, because look at this. This looks cute even without the border gap. Like, I feel like I would be cluttering this UI. What are your thoughts? Do you think I should add a whole border UI? I don't think so. I'm just going to place this right here, and then we're going to get the last one. Speaking of things that are last, I made a video on UX design a couple of days ago. Not a couple of days ago, like a whole year ago. It was about the world's easiest UX design crash course. It was like the simplest UX design explanation you've ever watched. And I literally watched it the other day, and I don't remember anything I said in that video. And the whole video was such an incredible watch for me, because the whole experience was like, oh, did I even say that? Wow, I sound so different and so smart. Like, watching these, after I'm done making a video, I will not want to watch it. Like, I will throw up before I will watch my own video now, because it's a lot. Like, you do the same thing over and over and over again, and it just tires you out. And then after a year, it's the most interesting thing to me. Like, that's just because I'm just forgetting things now. And we're doing Netflix. Can we search for a video icon? I think we can. This is the next icon that we're using today. So first I'll not like my own videos, and then I'll just want to watch them and be surprised at my own genius of coming up with the whole video ideas. Again, that's just where things are at right now. And speaking of which, we literally have completed an hour on stream, and I hope you're finding this fun, because I sure am. We're searching for the star icon now. Not the stat icon, the star icon. If you've ever used Iconify, some of the coolest icons I found with an Apache license, with a MIT license, and Apache and MIT are the two licenses you can use to openly free source your, use something without giving exact credit. And Apache and MIT are the two licenses that are safest to use if you're sourcing for open source stuff. And honestly, I found the best Apache MIT license stuff on Iconify as a plugin. Highly recommended. Akin's Realm says, I don't make very long videos, so I try to watch them after I publish to improve myself. That's a great strategy. Honestly, props to you on being able to do that. I think I'm just at a point in my content creation journey where I'm just exhausted, and it's fine because it's going in a good direction, and I don't want to stand in the face of progress. But I feel like in my own videos, the one thing I'm exhausted with more than that is, I think, my own voice, because I used to love my voice when I was making shorter videos too. That's something I'll relate to you with. But then longer videos came in, and now I just struggle with my own voice, hearing it back so much, because you make a video, it has so much of your voice in it, especially recent videos which have a lot of voice stuff, and then I'm just tired of hearing my own voice again and again and again, and it's exhausting sometimes, just being honest. And I understand why some of the things that we're doing in this world are extremely exhausting, case studies included, long videos included, but we all have to do things we don't like, and that's just where we're at. Again, with coloring these icons up, my favorite task in the world. Let's just make this all, let's just change this text, because I am literally horrible at, let's just type it out. You know what? Let's just type it out. Haha, I said you're great at talking. Are there any speakers, TV, radio presenters, etc. in the family? I don't know. There was a really, really distant relative who used to do radio. I don't know her, so I don't know, technically you would call them family, but it's not like we're meeting every day. I don't think so. Most people in my family are back-end work people, they will do a lot of great stuff, but it's just, everyone has always been really, really on the back-end side of jobs, handling the heavy stuff, but on the back-end. So this is new for me, but I love to chatter on screen, so that's just where we're safe right now. Salary payment, let's just get this done. All right, let's just change these numbers to plus 2700 2700 again. We should be aligning these to the right, shouldn't we? I think we should. This all needs to align to the right. Let's just get this aligned to the right. Can we align this to the right? I think we can. Let's get this aligned to the right, and we're going to get this aligned to the right as well. I don't think I have any common TV presenter radio. I wish there was someone. Even the most distant of distant people are the only people I can think about. I wish there was someone who was doing a lot of radio. I would love to point out at someone and say, this is my aunt, but I can't say that about my aunt because that's not my aunt. No, unfortunately not. But I love watching a couple of presenters who do really, really well. Speaking of presenters, who are your favorite presenters? I feel like I don't have a list. I should. Shouldn't I should have a list at this point. I don't, which is shame on me. Again, we're done with the third table. Now is the time to congratulate me. If anyone wants to congratulate me, please congratulate me right now. Please just do it, because these tables are exhausting. Wow. We're done with the third table. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I genuinely can't believe it. Speaking of stuff that I can't believe, there used to be a whole plugin library in Figma. Like, there used to be a whole bunch of plugins in Figma that used to come when you had the whole right click on this. Like, the Figma used to have an old UI back in the day, and they used to have a different plugin library, like the same plugin library, but they arranged it differently in the UI. And I feel like back then I had a lot of like fun with plugins, and recently they've kind of added all of the plugins in the assets section here, and unfortunately I'm having a harder time with plugins now. Like, I understand their whole desire to make everything consolidated in one place. Like, that's really understandable to me, but honestly I'm just having a lot of hard time finding good plugins. But maybe that's also because I have started running out of time to like research plugins, and researching fonts was like my favorite hobby in the whole wide world for a really long time. I feel like as we like run shorter on time, finding better plugins gets harder and harder. There has to be a more efficient way of making the plugins that I'm making the charts that I'm making right now, and I can't find it. Like, if you know any good plugins for making charts and stuff, plugin recommendations are always welcome on this channel. Like, Iconify is the one plugin I literally love. Let me just talk about plugins for a little bit. So Iconify is the plugin I love so much right now, and I'm obsessed with it. I have been obsessed with it. I don't think I'll ever stop on the obsession if Iconify continues to be the way it is. Iconify removed one of my favorite plugin libraries ever. I think it was Emoji One 3D or something. Iconify removed one of their plugin libraries, and that was really, really sad news for me, because that was my favorite plugin library in the world. But Iconify still has a big enough library to like keep my interests right there. So that's kind of where we're at. There used to be a plugin for making charts and stuff, but almost all plugins in the last couple of years inside of Figma have just kind of gone in all directions, and almost all plugins are just giving us a hard time, and I'm having a hard time finding good plugins now. Like, that's just where I'm at. And if you know any good plugins, plugin recommendations are always welcome. A couple of plugins that I always recommend are background remover plugins, but they got replaced with Figma's own background removal system, and like icon plugins, because of course you need icons every single place, every single time. Alright, so let's just get the whole chart type from right here. We're going to copy and paste this, bring this down right here, and we're going to place this right here now. Alright, this is going to be 0 to, let's see how far this goes. 0 to, what was the number? 0 to 10,000. Wow, what a huge number this is. I used to use a plugin in Figma a couple of years ago actually. A couple of years ago, there used to be a really, really fun plugin in Figma. I don't remember what it was called. Actually, I do not remember what it was called. It was the background remover plugin from Photo Room. Photo Room is the background remover I'm still using. Photo Room's background remover plugin was genuinely the greatest background remover plugin I've ever used. And then one day they started adding credits to their whole Photo Room usage, so they only let you use 10 free background removals per account, and that was the most depressing thing for me, because I love to use background removal, but I don't think right now is a point where background removal is such a huge expense for me physically that I would want to pay for a plugin. So that's just where I'm at. I can say sorry if my comments arrive a little late. I'm watching with some delay, more than a minute, so there's some lag for my reason. But other than that, great, congratulations. Thank you so much. We're making these in real time, and it's absolutely fine to have a little bit of a delay. Like, it's just so okay with me. Speaking of which, I was using a couple of plugins, really, really interesting, and they started adding paywalls to them. Like, Figma went through a whole phase of plugin paywall epidemic, and that was when like a little bit of the experimental plugins that I was into, like that's when I kind of scaled back my presence, because I understand plugins have a market and I understand like plugins, but I don't know if I would consider getting into plugins as like a worthwhile investment, especially when it's something highly replaceable. Like, there is a couple of categories like background removal. I don't know if I'll ever be like, even if I have all the money in the world, especially if you have a normal background remover plugin, I genuinely don't know, even as a service provider on the internet, I genuinely don't know when I would like want to say, wow, I'm going to get a plugin for background removal only. Like, unless it's a very, very standardized corporate venture, I don't know if I would ever consider going very, very whole plugin by I'll go and buy a plugin kind of person. Like, could you ever think about investing in a plugin that's only for background removal? Because I genuinely don't think I can, and that's just where I'm at right now. I just don't know where and when the whole plugin buying thing would be a whole useful expense. Like, I can't justify background remover plugins. Like, I understand that people who make them also need to pay the bills and whatnot, but it's just not something that I can understand right now at all. Can you think about why you would like invest in a plugin just to remove backgrounds? Because I can't, and I want to know your opinions on it as well, because there is just some stuff on the internet like that it's just really difficult to justify buying it in the first place. Like, even if you have all of the money in the world, like, money is never the issue when I'm not buying plugins is usually a usability issue. Like, when would I even consider, wow, this is so great, I just need to buy this immediately? Like, that just doesn't happen with me, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's other people too. That's something I would want to know your thoughts on. Speaking of which, check it out, you guys. We are in the 4th chart. We have finally made the 4th chart. We've made this weird finance version of a crowdsourcing UI component, and we've kind of shifted it above. We made the 4th chart. This is the time to throw your congratulations at me. Thank you so much for all of the congratulations that came. I am looking forward to the congratulations that come to me with delays. They give a later on, like, a suspended adrenaline rush, if I want to call it that. But look at that. 4 different charts done. All right, let's look at this on the whole screen. So check it out, you guys. We made the very, very first screen that we made was this one, and we're going to kind of add our screen, which is why I brought this down. So we have our first screen done, and this is what it looks like. Again, it looks really, really clean to me, really, really good to look at. I'm going to export this as an image now. Let's get this exported really, really quickly to my internal libraries. Let's make a new folder, call it new folder, and we're going to save this image now, and this is going to have an image fill. Speaking of image fills, there used to be a time in Figma I was genuinely at a point looking for a video fill. Like, I was working, I don't know if I was like interviewing or if this was like a project that we were thinking about working on. So there was a point where I was really desperately, I think the site was for like a video animation company, I think, and I really wanted like a video prototype preview to be a thing in Figma, and it really wasn't, and that bummed me out. But cut to 2026 Figma has video plugins. Figma has noise and grain and all of the cooler effects that they do, not just shadows. Like, this is the coolest tab right now inside of Figma. Like, Figma has just improved so much ever since the Adobe acquisition. I know I'm repeating myself, but I feel like I have to. At this point, I have to. Again, we're going back to our original demo. Where is the original demo? I feel like this is exactly where it is, and we're removing all strokes. Check it out, you guys. We have completed our landing page and the first screen of our dashboard. So this is the landing page. Is this dashboard? No, I feel like this is the one. Yeah, this is it. We have physically completed our first screen. Can we just shift this above? I think we can. And I also want to add a stroke to this. Let's add a singular black stroke to this. Just going to get this right here. Check it out, you guys. Is the stroke looking good? Is the stroke not looking good? Should I dull out the color? I think I should dull out the color a little bit. Let's get the stroke to a lighter shade. Can we do a lighter shade of orange? I think we can. Check it out. This is our landing page completed from scratch. This generally looks like a complete actual product, and then I have the actual dashboard, which I can explore in the next screen. This is actually scrollable on the main content side, but this side of the screen remains sticky, which is such an incredible feature to me. Like, you can literally scroll this up and down, and now we're making the final page of this UI. This is going to be the hardest in terms of charts, because we're going to be making more charts now. So prepare, hold on to your hats. Akin says that's great design. Thank you so much. Hold on to your hats now, because we're finally going to talk about the second bit of charts. So let's just get started. Again,
one really cool Figma feature that I want to talk about is if you go over here to the frames section in Figma, and this is a very recent change, like I'm just keeping you up to date on this now, and you just go ahead and click this button right next to any UI. It gives you a copy of that UI to use and customize, and this is an especially useful thing for us because we're going to go ahead and change a different tab, because the second thing that we were making was the budgets tab. So you can literally make a tab switcher this quickly if you just click on the blue circle that you saw right now. Alright, now we're making this component active. So this is going to be where we change this to white, and this is honestly my favorite part of the whole white video because it lets you give life to this tiny little option right here. And recently, let's just change this to the 101010 black shade that we were using. Let's change this to gray. Is it just me, or have we just gotten into a really nice weather of like by the time April sets in, I know people get their resolutions in January, but January is like really a drag month for me. I'm trying to just get through the whole story. By the time we've got April, I feel like I'm really clear headed with everything and my own goals now. Like, is it just me? I feel like it's a lot of people. Like, we're getting into a really good pace with life and things now. It's just a happier time to be around. Alright, so we're just going to copy and paste numbers. We've already seen how we design these. I apologize for copying and pasting things. You can pause the video and do them yourself, but I'm not going to, because if I start typing now, I'm pretty sure everyone is going to get exhausted and leave. Like, that's just where we're at. Something really cool that's happening in UI UX design is Figma and Framer. Has anyone seen the Twitter community these days that is trending? Like, Twitter in design just went through such a major change because a lot of Twitter genuinely for designers runs on showing off receipts of your freelance UI UX design projects, what the client paid you. And I would never do that. I don't think I would ever do that as a designer, because again showing receipts is just not something I would get down to, because if you go from teaching UI design to like showing receipts and flexing over other people, that just goes like it just sidesteps from the point that we were trying to make all along, and it just goes into the territory of just plain old show off and people getting attracted to you because they think design is just about the money. And I don't think that design is all about the money, and it takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of creativity, and if you just kind of cheapen it down to the money, it just gets really difficult. And I feel like right now on design Twitter there is just such a huge community all about only showing the receipts, and that's why I kind of struggle with that a little bit. Speaking of colors, you can have a couple of 3 different versions of colors with this specific bar. So you can have the gray version of colors, which is just us showing categories or things that genuinely aren't profits or losses. If you show a loss, you're going to show the red color that we're using, D85A30. I'm just going to paste this right now, and we're just going to place this simple green right now. Shouldn't the down button be red? I think it should be red. Let's change this to red. Can we just get this red right now? I think we can. Let's just get this to red because that was a down button. Alright, so speaking of which, let's just leave this be. It's fine. Alright, so the thing that I was talking about, because we're making 2 charts now and I want to talk about something really interesting. The thing that I was talking about was design Twitter. Design Twitter is something that it was really heavily tilting towards the side of Twitter has always been a very political site, and recently it was just trending to the side of showing off receipts and just being done with it. And I honestly don't believe in that strategy at all. Like, I would not consider doing that. And it's just at a point where great content is literally what Twitter lacks when it comes to UI UX design, and I think that's where I come in. And if you're on Twitter, make sure to follow me. Not a shameless plug, but also it's just a place where I'm posting a lot of good content recently, and that's something you don't usually find on Twitter. Like, everything is just showing off how much money I made last week, which it can't just be my own feed, because that's just what Twitter is right now. I don't know what to say on this topic anymore. Has it been simple? No. But again, I had to talk about it. Alright, the next chart that we're making is a really interesting chart because it has a grey chart line and a blue chart line together. Just followed Veera. Thank you so much, Akins. I appreciate all of you guys so much. Always appreciate you guys so much. Now we're making like 7 different categories. again, it's not that people can't grow on Twitter. People have genuinely, especially for code and development, people have genuinely grown on Twitter a lot. But again, I just had it with, like, I've always just been at a place where I've had it with the whole, I've made $10,000 on Twitter, and that's all that you're showing off. Like, if you can't even show us your process, if you can't even show us anything that's interesting from a subject point of view, why come to Twitter in the first place? Like, it makes me a little bit mad. Like, it just does. Speaking of Twitter, speaking of other platforms, Threads. How is Threads, everyone? Are you using Threads anymore? Threads was like Meta's fourth different social media platform, and it came in as a swift attempt to be a competitor of Twitter, and I like Threads a little bit, but every single community that you would see on other places of the internet, it's just, Threads is the shorter version of that. Like, are people using Threads anymore? Because I will post to Threads. Like, I do post to Threads genuinely. Aken says, I miss Twitter's bird logo though. I miss Twitter too. Like, the old Twitter, maybe it was politically twisted towards, maybe the old Twitter was politically twisted towards a couple of angles, and maybe in the house of politics, people have been happy with the changes that they made, although I don't know who would be happy with the changes either. Like, I don't know too much about politics to comment about any country, anything at all, but I feel like Twitter is just, for designers, it's just become a really weird show-off platform, and I'm just not with it. Akin says Threads is not active in Turkey. Why is that? Like, that seems like a curious question. Again, must be some policies, I don't know. As usual, I am the most uninformed of a fool in all things politics. How can I be so stupid with politics? Like, recently I was talking to someone who is extremely political, and I didn't know anything, and I was just staring at their face, and I'm just like that all the time. Like, I will not know anything about politics until someone comes and tells me, or I get an annoying little notification on my laptop. Like, if I get a horrible notification, I will read the news, and then I'll kind of be hating myself for the next couple of hours for wasting time on news. But, like, I will not get into the whole trend of politics ever, because it's just a lot, and everything is just so loud and rash and negative. Is it just me, or is just politics a lot for everyone? Any platform that talks about politics, it just gets to a point where it's a lot for me. Like, I'm not a very politics kind of person, but people I really care about are into politics, and I'm fine with that, because everyone is allowed to have their own opinions. Housing, groceries, dining, transport, subscriptions, takeout. Housing, groceries, dining, transports. I'm going to demonstrate why I struggle with these are single words. I don't think I should copy and paste them, and you're still going to see me struggle with this a lot. Like, this is how bad I am at typing. I should not be given a license to type. Super hard. Subscriptions, entertainment. Is Figma's AI auto-filling these things now? Because I feel like there is something that's happening with, like, Figma AI's autofill. Prateek says, wow, your English is so good. How can I improve mine? Can you give me some tips? Honestly, I used to be horrible with English, and then I started speaking a lot. And even though it sounds like very cliche advice, if you just speak English enough, because I come from a place where people don't speak in English at all. And then you just get to a place where you just are forced to speak English a lot, and that's just what you're left with. So I think my English has mostly been a thing that happened because I was just forced into places where there was no other option, and then you just have to get with the program. I don't know if English isn't my first language either. People around me don't speak English as their primary language either, and it's fine, because as long as you understand that when you're forced into a situation, you will adapt, I feel like you're going to be fine. You're pretty much is going to be fine. The first client call that I ever did was from an international client. Like, the first client call that I had as a freelancer in UI UX was an international client, and they were really good with English, and I wasn't, and I struggled with, like, translating stuff. Like, I remember, if I go back and look at those recordings, I was literally struggling and buffering and translating in real time. So the point is, you don't have to be born perfect. I wasn't born perfect, but life just forces you into situations where you have to get with the language, and now English is just mixed in with my own language pretty much. Akin says, you sound like you also read in English a lot. I type a lot of English, and then I read my own English back to myself. That's just what happens. And I'm at a place legitimately where brain has mixed my mother tongue and English into one, and now I'll legitimately be speaking and I'll mix it up, and I literally will sleep talk in English. That's just where I'm at. Like, I will sleep talk in English. There have been reports that I've sleep talked in English, and life just forces you into a situation where English is the only remaining option, and you just get with the program. That's just what it just is. And we're going to make 4 different lines. Again, what is your favorite UI design in the whole wide world? What UI design can I make like a video breaking down next? I want to know from you guys. Quick poll. What UI design do you think I could improve on next? Because there is UIs that you guys struggle with, absolutely. As a new UI designer, the most interesting part of being in this field is just seeing how things are on different UIs and maybe just exploring that in the real world. What UI design do you think I should break down next? Because someone said Discord, and Discord is a really, really good example. I feel like a lot of the features that I struggle with on Discord are just like simple things that other UIs have fixed. Like, there is a lot on Discord that can be improved, that definitely should be improved, and I could make a video on it, and I will pretty much. But what are some things you struggle with? Because I want to know. Let's make this a little bit darker. Can we make this lighter? I think we should make this darker. Let's make these lighter too. Charts are so difficult to make in Figma. I'm pretty sure there is a more efficient way of doing this. If you guys ever find out any like nice chart maker plugins, forward them to me immediately. Leave a comment, go to Instagram, leave a nice DM. I will love to look at like any nice chart plugins. Like, as you can see in today's stream, this is the stream that proves to you I'm struggling with charts a lot right now, and that could just be Figma, but it's pretty much something that's just happening everywhere. There are multiple languages spoken in India, right? Absolutely. India has so many languages, super duper many languages, like a lot of languages. And we don't all speak all of the languages, but it's mostly regional. Like, people from one region will speak one language, and people from another region will speak another language. Why are we still talking about languages? Pratik says Facebook. Facebook, yes! Thank you, God. Also, the content on Facebook. Can we just talk about that for a second? Like, I have Facebook as a presence, and my presence on Facebook is super duper small, and we're trying to work on it. But I feel like even the UI UX content on Facebook is always a few years behind in the latest content trends. Like, that's just also the case with UI UX design. Like, Facebook is always a few years behind in most of its trends, and especially the UI too. Like, I was looking at Instagram today, and I felt like Meta made a UI improvement for Facebook and called it Instagram and threw it out there. That's just what it looks like to me. Because could you have improved Facebook's UI? Absolutely. Did you? I don't think so. I think one of the things that puts me off with Facebook so much is the way they give you content, because even their content isn't that great at the moment. Is it just me, or the Facebook algorithm just gives me crap all the time? Like, Facebook, maybe another generation was comfortable with using Facebook, the generation just before us. But I just feel like if you are in the recent years of people, it's a difficult platform to use. Like, it's not the simplest thing in the world. Pratik retracted your message again. Are there people on Facebook I love to watch? Absolutely. Are there influencers and people on Facebook whose content is something I'm scrolling through? Yes. But is Facebook the fanciest in terms of UI? I don't think so. Like, Facebook's UI, let's be honest, it could be improved. It's not a secret that Facebook's UI isn't the prettiest in the world. Again. We're back to our charts. I am so close to getting this chart done. God, give me the strength to get this chart made. I swear to God, this done. I think we're done. Are we done? I think we are. Yes, we are done. Budget spend overview. Check it out, you guys. We did this chart. We'll empty this chart out, this next chart out, but we did this chart. So just give me a congratulations, because I am so exhausted with charts right now. I need your external validation to keep me going. And it's so weird because I'm super frank about it right now, even though I shouldn't be. I probably shouldn't be this frank. Speaking of things that I shouldn't be frank about, what's something in UI UX design that you're doing that you struggle with, that you are kind of hiding? Because UI UX design is a field where if you go on one side of the spectrum, there is going to be a genuine lot of show off. And I say that because not only Twitter, but I got a recent client when I was consulting. By the way, if you're struggling with anything UI UX, you can always reach out to me. Consultation is, of course, always available. Instagram DMs is where things are at right now. If you want to ask for consultation, you can always reach out there. or you have my site, which is coming out in a new and improved version really, really soon. So we'll have consultation there happening as well. Anyways, I had a recent client in consultation talk about UX design is something they used to struggle with, and that's because UX design as a whole felt like, you know what, this chart was really, really similar to this other chart we made. I think we could pull from here. Can we pull from here? No, we can just get this done right here. Again, so I was talking about this client that I had in consulting who was struggling with UX design because companies will ask you to make a certain UI, but then you'll have like no one is asking you to make the perfect UX design, and that was kind of why they didn't know the meaning of UX. And that's a genuinely okay question to have, like what's the meaning of UX design, because companies don't ask for it as a single deliverable. And my answer to them was really, really simple. UX design is just strategy. UX design is just thinking about what your user goes through in the flow cycle of things when they enter your site. Like UX design is just simple strategy like that. Like if you're struggling with UX design at the moment, UX design is simply strategy. Like don't even worry about it. You need to start getting into the shoes of the user and start thinking about what the user goes through when they enter your project. But other than that, UX design is literally just pricing. Prateek says Facebook's UI looks outdated. It most definitely does. A couple of versions of Facebook have like really good UI too. Like there was this Facebook Lite, I think the app was called. There was this app version called Facebook Lite, and I think I liked the UI of that. But even the content of it, like as a whole, the content is so outdated sometimes that it lets you think on a more deeper level, like Facebook's UI is broken. Like I feel like the content too is something that I struggle with. Prateek says 2 days ago I saw your video for the first time and I became a subscriber. Can you please share your journey, how you started design and how you learned? It would be really helpful. I think I have a couple of like old videos on Instagram about my own journey as well. Again, it's just UI UX design is something I saw, explored after I got into programming. So I used to be a programmer in the beginning. I still am, but I used to be a programmer, and that's something I always will love. And then UI UX design came in the story after I got into web design, web development, and it's just the one virus I can't get rid of. It's so fun to work with. Like, do I absolutely love it? Yes, I do. And my work in a lot of this is to improve like UI UX design, because I'm an absolute fan of UI UX design. Again, the next thing we're doing is these chart lines. These are so difficult. Let God give me the strength to get these made. Please, God, give me the strength to get these made. All right, we're just selecting these random bars now, making sure there. Can we just do 90-degree turn? Can we just do a 90-degree turn here? I think we can. And then we're going to add an auto layout, give these a little bit of spacing. Can we add a little bit of a gap? I think we can. Auto layout is a really helpful tool when you start using it like so. I'm going to like do 3 more. Again, let's just get, where did my lines go? This is where my lines are. Wow, I'm so confused today. Why am I so confused today? I should have a simpler handle in these things. Again, one question that I want to ask everyone who's watching today is, what day, what day is the best one for you if you're going to watch a UI UX design stream? Because I feel like weekends are the best, and that's why I try to stick to weekends right now. But also I'm open to other days if you're wanting to. UI UX design, what is the one UI design you would like to see made? What's the kind of category that we're lacking UI design tutorials at? Because of course I would love to make any new challenges in the whole land of UI design. Again, let's get talking about the topic that I was really talking about a little bit ago, Figma AI. Figma AI is genuinely letting us do a couple of things that I never thought Figma would do. Like AI, if AI changed anything, I feel like Figma AI is the one thing that changed. And have you guys looked at what Figma AI does? Because I feel like the genuine power that Figma AI has right now is just so incredible. It lets you remove image backgrounds. It generates images from sources like Google Nano Banana and stuff that we use other AI generators for. It literally generates simple UI designs, which aren't the fanciest, but they're still UI designs nonetheless. Like Figma AI is just so all over the place and just doing stuff everywhere now that I'm absolutely a fan of it. Are you using Figma AI? What are your thoughts on Figma AI? Because Figma AI came in very late compared to all of the other AI tools in the world, but it's my second favorite AI tool after Claude. Like Claude is just up there because it just does great stuff with code and design and whatnot. But Figma AI is like my second favorite AI of all time, because Figma AI along with Figma Make, it just does stuff that you never thought Figma could do. And like after the whole Adobe story, Figma is just, I know I've been talking about this a lot, but after the whole Adobe story, Figma has just done such a great job with AI and stuff, and all of the different additions that they've made. What's your favorite part of Figma? Speaking of favorite parts, this is the next favorite part of our story. We are about to get done. Start typing out congratulations right now. Can we do a dashed? Yes, we can. We can do a dashed fill. Let's increase the size of these dashes. All right, check it out, you guys. We have done another chart. Another chart done. We only need to do this weird grid now. Another chart done. Yay! Venki Creation says, I'm very curious about this answer from you. Are we designing for users or just impressing other designers? Really interesting question. Akins says, congratulations. Thank you so much, Akins. I want to answer Venki's question first. Are we impressing other designers or are we designing for real users? First of all, this video, a lot of the videos that you see as a designer are focused on providing value to you as a designer. And as someone who teaches UI UX designers, there are other people who teach UI UX design too. We are going to be focusing on teaching you all of the different skills and the methods and strategies. But if you've never actually seen practical work happen, which is fine, like we were all beginners once, if you haven't really seen a lot of work happen in the industry, you might think we're trying to impress other designers, but we're not. The one thing that I will say, the one thing that I do think is just all about impressing other designers is the Twitter design money show off rush that is happening right now. It just feels like it's all about only impressing other designers. But the only time I feel like designers are trying to impress other designers is when they're throwing money receipts in your face. Other than that, I don't think anyone is trying to impress designers. I feel like it's a learning community for designers that we're talking about, and that's just where we're at. Akin says, congratulations. Thank you so much. We only need a couple more congratulations because this next one is a grid. Let's see if we can get this grid done quickly. All right, let's just make this a little bit, let's give this a shadow. There used to be a time in Figma where you couldn't have too many effects other than like a simple drop shadow and a simple layer blur, and suddenly we've gotten so many like noise and gradient and texture and glass features. It just makes the whole UI design process so much simpler, so much easier. I wonder what like your thoughts are on this process. All right, let's just get a simple icon, title, tag. Those are the three we're making today. Again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. After I'm like done streaming a little bit, my voice will eventually go away, and after this stream is done, honestly, after the stream is done, I will be done talking to literally everyone. Like that's just what live streams will do to you. Not simple at all. I had a real close friend to me ask me recently, how do you get live streams done? And I've been thinking about that question honestly a lot, because yes, live streams are genuinely a lot for anyone to make, and I still want to do them well. I still want to do regular live streams though, because they're just a great way of getting things and messages across really quickly, really soon to you. All right, we're making this icon now. A home icon has been made by us. Venki says, can you explain this thing also? What's the design decision you still can't justify but shipped anyway? This seems like a ChatGPT question, but I'll answer it anyways. I feel like this is a question that they could ask you in an interview or something. And I'm copying these tags, by the way. So just look at what I'm doing on the screen while I'm talking about this. What is a design decision that I made, but that I can't justify but I shipped anyway? Honestly, most of the times when UI designers are doing this, if you're working in corporate, a lot of the decisions that you skip are sometimes just kind of forced upon you from someone higher up, and you just have to ship. Sometimes aesthetic decisions that look really pretty, like heavy animations and stuff, won't be the best, like accessibility wise, and that's something that I can't justify. Heavy animations without accessibility proper done on the back end is something that I can't justify, but sometimes you have to ship those anyway because you're trying to make a new startup happen, you're trying to make something new happen, and you're trying to make it look good. And so I feel like heavy animations is the one thing that in really, really flashy UI designs that are trying to look new age, whether they're startups, whether they're design agencies, like that's just the one category I feel like there is no justification for the heavy animations that almost are capable of inducing seizures in people, and we still ship those, and it's really weird. So I feel like heavy animations that trigger seizures, that have like a lot, I'm pretty sure you can Google these as well. Sometimes animations are so speedy and so weird that it's almost a torture to the eyes seeing them happen, and yet to impress other designers is something that we'll like make animations at, and that's just a decision that I can't justify, but I will almost always ship them if I'm forced from someone in the organization higher up to ship them. Like that's just something that's happened in the real world a lot. Venki says, actually these questions are my interview questions. When I attend a recent interview, they're asking these questions. I noted these questions, that's why I'm asking, curious about your answers. Alright, throw me a couple of questions. I would love to answer your questions. Let's see if I can crack the interview with whatever the questions are. Let's just see. It's going to be super fun. Alright, so we're just getting this crowdsourcing kind of component from here, grouping it together, because it's something that we're going to use it a lot. Give me your questions, Venki. I want to answer their questions. Let's see what happens. But the first question, if I want to answer it really, really clearly, extreme animation speed in a couple of sites like award sites is something that I can't justify as a UX designer, because sometimes they're really, really weird and migraine inducing and just extremely all over the place. But in new age startups and in organizations that are still trying to look new and flashy and just have it all together, they will like force you to make them, and it's not something I justify as a UX designer. But heavy flashy animations are something that I'll still ship if that is the need of the brand as a whole. Like I wouldn't say to an interviewer, higher authorities are like forcing me, my boss is forcing me, but I would say if that is what the brand's direction requires of me, I would like let it happen. Stress Gaming says, can you tell me how many fonts and sizes you use in a single page? Actually, after you're done doing a whole design, like check this out. After you're done doing a whole design, let's do this in this one. You can literally see all of the different things. If you go into Figma dev mode, I think if you go into Figma dev mode, you can literally go ahead and see all of the different colors and all of the different assets. And if you click around, you'll see the font sizes and everything. So I think in Figma dev mode, you can see a lot of them. But basically, when you're trying to make a design system, and by the way, another chart component done, guys, give me a congratulations in the chat, because I'm doing this for the validation this time. Anyways, so point was, a lot of these are set up in a design system. So if you're working with a design system, you'll have a couple of them set and you'll try to repeat them over and over again. If you're using design variables, that's when you'll have a limited set of ones you'll use over and over again. But other than that, that's just how you find out how many you're using. Like you'll have very, very justified sets really, really clearly. Are there any other interview kind of questions? Because I love the question format that we were just doing with. Like the answer to the last question was heavy animations that aren't justifiable from a UX point of view are still like forced when a brand needs to look fast and speedy, and I wouldn't justify them honestly, but I could still ship them if that's where things are at. But I would still look into like improving things though. I would still look at the whole, can I improve this in general vibe? Because I think there is a lot of improvement that can be made even to the flashy animations. But flashy animations was a trend that came in that like literally took over the whole world, and it just forces you, if you're a design brand trying to look upskill, to just ship things that aren't sustainable accessibility and WCAG wise. I'm pretty sure there is a more clear way of making. Actually, Venki says, actually this one also, what's one UX rule you personally ignore when doing a new project or else product designing? All that stuff like deadline is near. I have the perfect UX rule for you. It's called, I think it's called the 80-20 principle, and it has a fancy name. If you go to my channel's playlist, the UX formula, balloon animals and UX design principles combined, you will see this video, and it's about the 80-20 time principle. And what it literally says is, I think it's called the Pareto principle. I might be missing the title though. The Pareto principle, or I don't know, the 80-20 principle. It's basically, it says the more time you give a project, the longer it'll take to complete. And I struggle. If I had to answer as you, I'm trying to answer it as you. I would say, if I struggle with one UX principle, it's this UX principle, the 80-20 rule, which states that work expands to fill up the time that we give it. And sometimes I feel like I get caught up in the creative process, and I try to make the thing look that I'm working on look the best, and in doing so I lose track of time because I love UI design that much, and it just comes to a place where I'm trying to get the whole thing filled up into a little bit of a time space, because at the end I'm like scrambling at the end, because time management and the whole 80-20 principle of work expands to fill, is it the 80-20 principle? I don't remember, like I will have to look this up. These questions are giving me a run for my money too. Like the principle of work expands to fill the time that you give it is something that I struggle with, because I will get caught up in making UX design and make UI design and making it look pretty, and while I'm doing that, sometimes I will lose track of time. Like I feel like this is a good answer you can give, simply because if you say you like UX design, that is a good plus to the company, even when you lose track of time. And then time management isn't such a huge issue that they genuinely want to throw you out. Like it's not the biggest red flag to me. Ranking creations, again, we're all nervous in an interview, completely understand where you're coming from. I feel like this is the second one we're doing, right? Yeah, this is the second one we're doing. On track. Let's get this done really, really quickly. What is something you'd like to see in another live stream? What design things that can I make which would like make real good projects? Like, give me recommendations. I'm open to all recommendations today. What's something I could make that I am not making right now? Let's change the numbers. 520 of 600. 520. Let's just give these, like, you could change these numbers to anything, and you could just shift this around to the other side, or you couldn't. Like, that's all the same. Dining out. Let's change this to dining out. Let's make this a single line. What's a UX design principle that you struggle with? What's something you struggle with? Because it's always a good idea to maybe get lost in the art, and maybe that's like the thing you're trying to show at that point. What am I talking about? I lost track. Wow, this is horrible. But we're making a huge amount of progress in these charts. Look at that. We're almost done with the charts, you guys. Dining out. Let's make a real good restaurant icon from Iconify. I had a video a couple of, I feel like this is a month ago, not a month ago, many months ago. I think last year I had, hold on, give me a second. We were searching for a restaurant. A couple of months ago, I had a video on the 5 Figma plugins that I would use all the time, and a plugin that I was really was like into at that point was Get Waves. Like, it's a really nice plugin if you want to make like fancy wavy things happen. I recommend you guys try it out, because it really does give you a lot of fun waves to work with. It looks really simple, but it actually makes a whole lot of like progress in making things look pretty. All right, let's change this to 160. Again, I could change these numbers exactly, and I could take this and place this right here, but that's a homework I'm kind of going to leave to you, because we're trying to get these charts done in time, and even this looks good. Venki says, how much time have you taken to learn these UX principles and UI principles, as well as the tool you're using, Figma? It's incredible. How many days have you taken to profit from all of this stuff? Honestly, that's a big question. I've been in this field for like the last 5-6 years, and I don't honestly know the number of, I wish I could give you the perfect answer. It took me 10 days to master Figma, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen those ads too. I've taken 10 days and I've mastered Figma, and now I'm earning $10 million. I wish I could give you an answer like that, but honestly, it's been a good field. It's been very profitable. It has been profitable from the first year onwards. Like, it's always been great to work in, but I don't really, like, we're always learning. Even now, I'm learning stuff even now. So there wasn't a clean date that came like with the school year. This was the year I went into Figma, and this is the year I came out of learning Figma, and this is the year I became god and master in this whole industry, and this is the year that all of my money came in. That just doesn't happen. Like, you don't have one clean number to give anyone as a whole. One interesting UX design problem that people get into all the time is they'll make a UI design and they'll wonder what UX even is. Like, if you have been this person, raise your hand. It's completely, we're not shaming anyone here. It's been a general struggle with a lot of people. You will make your design and then Wi-Fi, let's call this Wi-Fi. You'll make your design and then you'll struggle with internet. Can we do this? I think we can. At limit, let's just do this. People will make a design and the UI part of it is done, and then they'll struggle with the whole UX of where is UX even happening. Because let's assume you followed this tutorial. Let's assume you sat down 2-hour tutorial, you did it from start to finish, and now you're struggling with how does this even translate into UX design. If you are a beginner, if you don't know what UX design is, my best recommendation to you is go ahead, start with a paper and a pen, start mapping out the flow that you could think about. Like, what would a beginner in UI design, like what would a beginner user, not UI design, what would a beginner user do if they came into my app, if they came into my site? How would they deal with this problem? How would, which are the screens that they would go into? Which are the screens that they would like accidentally stumble into? If they press the wrong button, what happens? If they press the right buttons, what happens? Like, try to map out the user's flow on a paper and a pen, and that's like the cleanest starting point for all things UX design. Like, if anyone's wondering anything about UX design, I've given you the cleanest answer possible. Now we're making credit cards. The yellow, sometimes yellow accessibility color like gives you a lot of trouble. But anyways, subscriptions. What is this called? Netflix, Spotify. Netflix, Spotify. Let's do another one for apps too. What's the most apps? I had someone recently tell me they go to Dribble and they like get all of the inspiration from there, and sometimes it feels very mindless to just be copying off of Dribble, and honestly it is sometimes, and if you're struggling with the whole I'm inside of Dribble and I'm trying to copy all the things era of your life, I feel like if you copy a couple of UIs and then you stop yourself and then you start giving yourself permission to make these things from start and then try to make them from the beginning, it's a really good point. Because sometimes of course you have to copy things and you have to learn things, don't take credit for other people's work obviously, but of course it's a good point to maybe get started and start exploring and seeing what other people are doing. That's how you learn the trends of the time and the era. But at a certain point you need to be the person who forces yourself out of the bird's nest and you get started making your own UI UX designs, and then you'll see all of the inspiration that you learned from is something that you can actually implement too. Akin Siddharth says, I hope to catch you in another stream. Veera, have to go now. Have a great one. Thank you so much, Akin, for joining us. I will have another stream the next weekend too. If you're a UI UX design freelancer, if you don't yet know how to get started finding clients, click in the link in the description and sign up for the free masterclass, how to find, why are you not finding clients as a UI UX freelancer. It's a free masterclass, and I talk about it next week. Venki says, I recently texted you on LinkedIn. I want the mentorship and all the stuff we discussed on LinkedIn. When will you make a live portfolio review? I am eagerly waiting. Venki, if you leave me a message, my Instagram is in the description of this video, and if you leave me a message, like I have private consultation happening even now. Entertainment. Like, if you didn't yet know, I have consultation happening all the time these days. Like, you can talk to me through Instagram DMs and we can discuss and I can guide you and stuff. Like, if you're looking for consultation, it does happen with me. Of course, it's possible. Leave me a DM on Instagram. And my site is also going to be coming out really, really soon. So we'll have like a centralized system for signing up. But if you don't yet know me yet, and if you want consultation, you can definitely ask for it in the Instagram DMs. So my Instagram is in the description of this video. Make sure to leave me a DM and I'll send over the details of whatever everything is. Let's change this to a light shade of green and make this a really, really dark shade of green as well. All right, let's change this to what color was entertainment? Entertainment was green. Let's make this green too. Let's make everything in here green. This is going to be green. How do you make this green? This is going to be the same shade of green we've been using, and we're going to change this to green as well. Let's get this to a nice shade of green. Look at that. We're done. We are done. Someone throw me a congratulations in the chat because I'm running on your validation. Now we have all of the different screens that we were supposed to make. Let's see if they prototype well. Are they prototyping well? I think they are. Look at that. Can we have the other screen, please? Yes, we can. Look at that. We have our third screen done as well. Now we're prototyping. This is the best part of this video. If you have been watching this long, this is the point you want to focus on. If you're looking at anything else, stop looking at everything else for a moment. We are finally prototyping this stuff. This is the juicy part you came in for. A couple of actions in prototyping that I want to talk about first. If a user is in your landing page, the first thing, prototyping is basically giving direction. In Figma prototyping, you're basically giving the user direction on how to use your entire product, right? So prototyping is basically when you'll basically navigate your UI. So when you click on the explore button on the landing page, you'll go into the dashboard. When you click on this export button, you'll go into the dashboard. Settings for this are going to be navigate to this MacBook. Animation is going to be Smart Animate. Smart Animate is the best animation like you can ever do. Then we're going to click on overview and budget. And when you click on budget, you want it to go to the budget screen. When you click on the overview, you want this to go back to the overview section because this is also navigatable. And when you click on this, which is the logo, you can go back to the homepage. Like homepage and logo are almost always synonymous for all UIs. Venki says, congratulations. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much with all of this. Like it's almost always so nice to have you people watching and talking. Check it out. What we just did right now while you were talking, you can replay this video if you're doing this live, is we prototyped this entire process with Smart Animate, a feature in Figma which is the best friend ever if you're a UI UX designer. This is the landing page. If you click on the explore button, you will go to our main dashboard. You can scroll this dashboard on one side. The navigation bar remains sticky, and you can also click on budget to go to the other screen and check it out. This did you see that? Did you see this chart? This was like the cutest chart ever. Did you see that? It animated on its own, and I love this. Like this goes to this, like we used previous components, and this was so helpful because check it out. This looks really cute. You can navigate the both of these. These are our two sections. If you don't yet know how to do this, this is our really nice UI. Anyone who wants to see this UI prototype live, watch this video from scratch. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will see you in the next live stream. If you are a UI UX freelancer who doesn't yet know how to get clients, go click in the link in the description. It's for the Why You're Not Finding Clients masterclass happening next week and completely for free. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me live. I always appreciate talking about UI UX design with you guys. I will be back, I think, on the next weekend that we have Saturdays and Sundays, making these fancy little UI UX design builds. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me live. Have a good night.